So there is some more dramatic video that was shown yesterday at another trial in Minnesota. Kim Potter has been charged with manslaughter and the shooting death of Daunte Wright back in April. We covered that story, you guys remember. The video shows the moments leading up to the shooting when Kim grabs her gun instead of her taser and then shows Daunte driving away after he was shot. The officer then collapsed on the ground shouting, "I shot him. Oh my God." She's got her hands on her head and she's screaming and crying. Does this new video, Al, make any difference to you in regard to the loss of Daunte?
Absolutely not. You know, what did make a difference to me was the testimony of the officer that was with her. And he said he went against what she said, which we have not seen a lot of. There usually is a blue wall of silence, and not in this case. The officer said he was in my possession, like I was touching him when the bullet hit. So this young man was being contained for a reason that didn't look like it needed to be. But Sam, this is what happens when you have guns involved with nonsense traffic stops. We've seen certain legislations brought up saying that we're going to stop with these traffic stops. It would be nice if we could just do them without having to worry about people's lives at stake. But we have another young man that will never hug his mom again. A young man that looks just like my son, around the same size as my son, around the same size as the kids I used to teach. These young people are being killed for what? It was in the middle of the day. He wasn't doing anything. We're talking about paperwork, some kind of old tag. But this is what happens when you just start harassing your citizens, Jeff. This young man, you could have given him a ticket. You don't have to pull people over. When you can run the license plate, if it's old, send the ticket to his house.
That's what they're...
Why are you pulling people over and then drawing a firearm? What could he have done?
Listen, I don't want to take this out of context because I don't want to put this young man down or his family or any way. This is why, and again, this is going to be sensitive when I say this, I want to put money back into the police. People want to defund the police. I say that, let me explain, because I want training done, okay? I know it doesn't even matter. If you watch a fight, okay, if you watch fighters, I'm a fan of the UFC, those guys are concussed and they still know how to put people in moves. They still know what to do because their training takes over when they're in a violent situation. If you are trained and you have to every year update that training and be retrained, when it comes to minor situations like traffic stops, you are not reaching for a taser or a gun. You are trained in what to do. And taking money out of the police department and not have money for these fundings, I think, my personal opinion, is a problem because we are not going to get the proper training that these police officers need.
But I think the scary thing is she had completed training for her taser, I believe.
In March, weeks before.
Obviously,
she's 26 years.
Obviously, the training was not up to standard,
I think
because she made a mistake.
Yeah, I think we also are not having a conversation about how much of our tax dollars are actually already allocated to police departments. If you want to do a reallocation, which essentially it's semantics here, we're talking about defund the police. That's semantics because we're talking about reallocating funds. You're talking about, like, if there's a police department and they have militarized, which is what the problem is. A lot of people feel that the issue is police are over militarized as opposed to protecting and serving. If you want to reallocate the funds within the police department for added training, that's one thing. I think when you said defund the police and then your point, it doesn't really jive because it's all reallocating funds, whether it's reallocating funds to go to other support systems or it's reallocating funds of how the police actually use the dollars that they have. My big thing is we see this video. Some people are going to feel a lot of sympathy towards this officer like it was a mistake. First of all, you don't get to make life and death mistakes. And secondly, the video that really gets me is of Daunte Wright's mother. So if we're going to have a very emotional, this is moments after her son was shot. That's the emotion that I care about. I care about his mother, his family, all of those who see themselves in him. That's where my sympathy goes, not towards Kim Potter.
I just look at that and I'm like, why were there, what could have possibly happened where there were that many police officers there for this young man that had an expired tag? Like, what could have possibly been going on in a country awash in drugs, in a country awash in illegal opioids, in a country where sex predators just wander and have television shows that are on the air for decades?
Right.
Why did that situation require 4 officers when there's situations that require hundreds of officers and they get none?
Right.
I just don't understand. And for this woman to have felt as empowered enough that even though he was already under another officer's control, she needed to best case scenario, hit him directly in the chest with a taser?
Right.
Which could also kill him? Like, what could somebody be doing where we needed this much containment for a 20-year-old kid that couldn't have weighed 160 pounds? I just don't understand it, and would like some explanation. And we never hear anything from the police. It's a tragedy, and we move on. But his family, his mother, will never
Glad
move
we
on
showed
from
that
sitting on
video.
that tree lawn right there.
Thank you for showing that video.